Hello and welcome to another episode of Lost in Minecraft. Today we will be securing the spawn, and by that I mean we will be building a small base at our world spawn point. Now this is something I really should do on more of my worlds, but basically if you meet a sticky end and there is no preset spawn point with a bed or such like, then you will be returned to the spawn point. I've had this happen before where I have returned to the spawn point after being killed off in a cave and been mobbed by zombies as it is night time. So for that we are going to do a little wooden hut. So we will start off with some stripped birch wood. I'm not a big fan on birch, so this makes it a little bit more appealing to me. You can strip the outside bark off any piece of wood by using the use function whilst holding an axe. In a similar manner you can use a use function on a shovel to make a path through the grass that will then not grow back. As you can see, we're just quickly zipping through, collecting up a good supply of wood. In this area we have got birch and oak trees, so it gives us several different types and colours of wood, which can make some interesting build designs. In other biomes you can get other types of wood as well. Jungle, cherry blossom, spruce is quite a nice one as well. So do not be afraid to explore and experiment. As you can see, with each tree I try to remove the entirety of the wood available, especially up the trunk. If it all gets removed, then effectively it kills the tree and the leaves will start to fall. This can drop various interesting items, sticks, apples and saplings. You can take the saplings and plant them to regrow the trees. This can be very important for various automatic farms we will explore later on in the game. We go replanting some trees, make sure that we have a nice supply for later. It takes a little while for trees to regrow, so the sooner you can do it the better. I try to replace trees in the same places I chop them down. It just means that I know that they are likely to grow there. If they're too close together then they may not grow. If there's other things in the way, same issue. So we have a little clear out here. We will need various other items for our little base, such as doors, another bed. We'll have a chest, maybe a crafting table, just so that if you do end up having to use it, you've got a little bare bones setup. Nothing too shiny, but enough to give you a better chance of survival. So we shall make our way back to where our spawn point was. This is why we recorded the coordinates when we first started this world. I'm collecting up some wool to craft ourselves a new bed. Now there we managed to get some light grey wool, which, whilst useful, we can make things of a different look. Unfortunately cannot combine with other wools to make a single bed, so 2 white and 1 grey will not a bed make. Luckily, with all these flowers around here, we can create dyes, so we shall have a little play with that once we are established. We'll need at least 3. We'll have a nice little red bed. Now, looking at my notes, our world spawn was at -650, 70, 447. So using the coordinates on the top of the screen, we can slowly but surely make our way there. I believe I did actually have a test run at some other point I may have in fact left a torch in place, which will make it easier to spot, but just using your coordinates you can find it anyway. And here we go, as you can see. Oh, we've just gone past it. Watch our coordinates on the top, and there we have it. That is our world spawn. So I'm going to have this as the centre of our little base. And we've got a bit of a dip in the ground there, so we shall fill it in a touch. Sheep always getting in the way. Last mistake he will make. Counting out the area that I'm looking at. I'm thinking of doing a 5x5 floor plan. When making floor plans for buildings in Minecraft, it is usually a good idea to go with an odd number. This is quite aesthetically pleasing because it means that you can have doors and windows and such like in the middle of walls, as we shall see once I continue building. So we put down some of our items. We can use this to make ourselves some planks. I think I'll use the stripped birch to make our little corner pillars, make it look a little bit different. So I just need to plot out where everything will be. So if we have a gap of 2 from the world spawn center, that will give us our 5x5 gap. For some reason when I was crafting this I was having difficulty with my counting. Must have been tired that day. Now, technically looking at it, I believe this may have been why I was having difficulty with my counting. I have in fact made them as 7x7s, but the odd numbers always work, because as you can see there, the doorway is perfectly in the middle of the wall. I can't use the bed just yet, the sun is still a little bit too high, so let's continue with our building. Get our little end points up, making it 3 high. Just makes it feel a little less claustrophobic. Come back and get that little block later. How about now? No. Still the sun is too high, so let's continue building. Get a few more blocks down. Get a door in place. For the windows, what we shall use is fence posts. They make handy little window alternatives. So here we go with our sleeping through the night, start afresh the next day. As always, first thing to do when you wake up outside of a base is just have a quick scan around, make sure there's no... we have a little lava pool over there that could become useful later on. Let's just make sure there's no enemies spawn nearby which could cause us problems. Filling in the walls nice and quickly, nice and secure, so we shall make some fence panels. There you go. Just gives you good visibility outside. You can keep an eye out for any potential bad guys. So now we need a roof. A good way of making a sort of typical house roof is in fact using steps. They can give you a nice arch roof sort of feel and are quite aesthetically pleasing. And to this chest we'll put a few items just so that if we do have to use this as a respawn point, we have some food there for healing. Anything else we might think of to add in we'll chuck in later on. So here we are with the dyes. So you use the flowers to make the red dye, and you combine the red dye with the white wool to make red wool, and from that you can make a red bed. I quite like the look of the different colours of beds, so I will use that as my primary travel bed. The sun is still up, still looking good, we've still got plenty of time, so it's probably a good point to think about cracking on with the roof. Make ourselves a little dirt staircase up to the top. Make a little top section, both sides. An extra little bit in the middle, make a nice high roof. In hindsight, I would probably not do that again. When you have a look at it from the front, I find it looks a little bit disproportionately high, but for what it's going to be used for, it'll be perfectly fine. So, laying down the stairs to make our roof. Steps can be very awkward to put down sometimes. If you're not looking in exactly the right sort of place, it may put them in upside down, mistake them for a corner, all sorts of fun and games, so it does take a little bit of getting used to. We need to make a path up the other side. There we go. And finished. A little bit of lag on my PC there. We shall fill up the sides, fill in the other side. That's looking quite nice now. You can see the sort of effect that the steps give. As you can see, we still have a gap in the ceiling. Oh, there was a misplaced step there. Another nice way of filling in the last little gap is using some slabs. And as we still have some birch planks that I'm not likely to use anywhere else, we'll make some birch slabs, again just as a slightly different coloration to it all. To get out there, we'll have to come onto the outside of the building and hop up, so there we go. Just put them across the top of the gap there. Of course, you don't have to use slabs, you can put whatever you want there. And just add a bit of visual difference. Slabs on the side. We'll leave those top ones clear because then we can put torches on. As per my usual philosophy of keep everything as well lit as possible. And then we have a basic look at our house. So if we ever die without a respawn point, we will respawn in the middle of here. We'll have a bed, we'll have materials to use, and we will be hopefully safe. Now, just to make the outside a little bit more secure, you can put a fence around it. Sometimes I would put a fence around the entire building, but I'm running a little bit short on materials, so I'll just do a little bit of a fence out the front. So now I can come out to the front door and not be mobbed by a lot of zombies to begin with. So filling in a little bit more of the dirt area. Get some birch fence. Light up, so as you can see, nice and easy. Mobs on the hole cannot get over fences and gates, so you can step out and be fairly secure. I like to make sure as well that there's not too many high areas of dirt, just in case they stagger across one and they can in fact cross the fence whilst falling. I've had that happen before. So, a nice little roundabout view of our little mini spawn base. I think that will certainly do as well as and when it is needed. Some more food, make a nice and secure and safe for us. If we had a furnace and some coal in it, it just allows us to smelt anything that we have collected when we respawn. And there's using the alternate function on the shovel to make a little gap. That is our world spawn point. It's just a horse walking around outside the window. And there we have it. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.